How do you identify yourself as a progressive woman, and especially a woman in her prime? How do you deal with the disparity between who you're supposed to be and who you know you actually really are? Hi, progressive woman, and welcome to our space where women like you and I, women who are in our prime, are unblocking, realigning, and progressing our deepest desired lives that we love. And we're doing this by encouraging it imperfectly. The big words in this channel, the big words in our prime are relevance, finishing well, and courage to do so. When you define what finishing well is, and you define that by being clear about your second act vision. Once you've defined that, then the other thing that you need is to look at your relevance, which has to do with your purpose. And the other thing that you need to look at is then the courage. The bridge between where you are and your deepest desired life is made of rungs, and those rungs are rungs of courage. So the courage to progress imperfectly is a big conversation in this channel. So relevance, let's talk a little bit about that, because one of the things that I've found women struggling with is a disparity between who they are expected to be, and that they have for all of their lives trying to fit into that mold so they don't upset society, so they can be able to fit in, so they can be accepted as women who are leaders and be seen to be, to be not too feminine, or not to be too womanly, or not to be too sensitive or too dramatic. So they have learned how to toe the line, fit into the cookie cutter, and try and stay within those parameters. But some of those cookie cutter models or molds are quite ill-fitting. Some of us have never quite fitted in there. We jump from one cookie cutter to the next in the way that we change our job. So we move from this cookie cutter to the next job, which is another cookie cutter, and it doesn't fit. We don't quite fit, but we try to pretend we are okay. In as much as this side is squashed, this side is squashed. Have you ever put on something, a headscarf or something that was too tight on your head until you feel like you're having a headache? So that's what it feels like for that woman consistently who is trying to fit into a certain kind of mold. And so in your prime, you need to come into the point whereby you get clear about the woman that you are, your identity, who am I? And number two, your purpose. Who do I want to serve, and how do I want to serve? Because you have accumulated a lot of skills, a lot of knowledges, a lot of experiences, a lot of wisdom that will be so useful in the coming season of your life, in the next chapter, your second act chapter. But then you need to be deliberate and intentional about exactly where and whom you want to serve, because you don't have the luxury of time that you had when you were in your 20s, where you could be able to broaden your scope by being here and there, serving here for 1 year, then go to the next job, then the next job. You don't have that now, and you can't keep squeezing yourself into places and spaces that you do not belong, whether those places and spaces are work related or they are personal, intimate relationships. You may not belong to, and you can tell because you are never quite comfortable and you're never quite free to be yourself. So you need to get clear about your identity. Who am I? And what is my purpose? Purpose, I think, is greatly underestimated, and it's been over-marketed. And because of being underestimated and over-marketed, we have become desensitized to it. But let me tell you, my dear progressive woman, there is nothing that beats living a purposeful life. It is important, especially for us in our second act, to get very clear about who I am and how I serve. Because who I am, I serve from the overflow of my values, from the overflow of my purpose, and I serve in the space where I'm not trying to fit into a certain mold, but I serve best in spaces where I can mold the place, or the place takes shape to accommodate me as I am. Is that too much to ask for? Maybe it is, but we are women in our second act. Who cares? There has to be spaces that will and can accommodate us, both intimately and also in our careers. That is possible. I don't have to lose who I am in order to try and fit and squeeze myself into a certain mold. A lot of food for thought. And now with that, I would like you to head on to Women See School. Women See School is designed for women like you and I, women who are in our prime and women who are progressive. And that school is an online school, and it has 2 tracks for you. One is your to do with your clarity about this purpose I'm talking about, and the other one has to do with your intimate and love space, because relevance and finishing well are at the core of this work. And the C stands for courage, because I've said to you the rungs on the ladder, or the rungs on the bridge from where we are to where we want to be, and the women that we are becoming, that those rungs are the rungs of courage. It takes courage to say, you know what, I no longer fit in this mold, or this space has become too small for me. Think about it and share with me your feedback. When you go to the Women's School, I want to hear from you, please. Make sure that you sign up for our LB Insider, which is a weekly email that you shall be receiving. And also let me know what you think as you explore the C-School. What are your thoughts about it? So with that, remember this, that everything that you've been through, every experience, every rise and every fall has prepared you for your next chapter. What you need to do is start where you are and keep progressing imperfectly, because you, my dear progressive woman, are a bold, blessed woman. See you next time.